Very short update from the world of film. The Batman 3 may not actually happen. Now, I want to clarify here. These are statements from Matt Reeves and also just a history of looking at how long the second Batman movie here has taken with Robert Pattinson. And while I know that film is a very complicated and dynamic process, there are a lot of moving pieces from script writing to the actual filming to special effects. I mean, costume department. It is a very, very well-oiled machine when a film does come out. While I think most of us can understand that, from the sidelines, a lot of us have seen the Batman process as kind of frustrating, as the sequel taking a very long time to materialize, and as kind of being up in the air other than the Penguin show coming out after the original film. So we're going to talk about these comments for a couple minutes today. I do have a question for you just in general, which is, how long do you want the Batman universe to go? Do you want this to be a trilogy and then just kind of wrap it up, like succinctly like The Dark Knight? They've talked about more spin-offs, things like that. Would you want to see that? Or do you think they should just kind of put a bow on it? Let me know. Also, we do have new products up on cosmobunny.shop, one-of-a-kind products for one-of-a-kind people, coasters, keychains, trays, and more made from recycled paper from comics, manga, and magazines that have been damaged. I'll talk more about that at the end, but I wanted to say I appreciate all of you who have been supporting that recently. Now, Matt Reeves was talking about the Batman 2, and he has made many comments, including also noting that, yes, it has taken longer than expected, saying it's been a journey that is taking longer than I would have wanted for a lot of reasons, a lot of personal reasons, which he said when he was talking to The Hollywood Reporter on the Emmys red carpet, saying, but the most important reason is getting it to a place where I just felt like it was the best script we could possibly write. Saying we're getting ready, we're basically entering prep, we'll be making the movie in the spring. Now, there's been very many different movies that have taken a long time to materialize, sequels, things like that. Sometimes they can take decades, and that's fine to an extent. However, with the Batman 1 being largely a vigilante origin-ish story, like early on in Batman's career, if you jump too far, Robert Pattinson ages too much, and you have to jump the story by multiple years and skip ahead in development, which is something that can also affect storytelling. So, where it kind of comes down to a uh-oh statement is later on, when he was talking to Josh Horowitz, Matt Reeves actually said the first story is so much about the Batman. And so I always wanted in the movies to make sure that, let's say we get to make 3, and I have no idea if we get to make the Batman 3. But if we get to make 3, I always wanted the movies to be focused on his character. And I think this is where it's a bit frustrating because obviously the movie is aiming for a 2027 late release, and it already has been multiple years since the first film. What kind of comes off a little bit of a yikes here is the fact that this was always penned as a trilogy, at least in previous comments, like that there was this universe that they wanted to keep separate from any DCEU or DCU or any other universe. And despite the fact that many people have asked, hey, could we maybe see Robert Pattinson's Batman in the DCU? Maybe we don't need multiple Batmans at the same time. Maybe it'd be cool to see that. And other people are arguing, no, keep it separate. The whole logical argument behind keeping it separate was to protect Matt Reeves' vision, was to protect this universe that was more of a crime noir, drama-filled universe. Now, another argument has been, well, we already did that. We did that with the Dark Knight Nolan films. That was the last big solo incarnation of Batman. Not Batfleck in the DCEU, but Christian Bale in his own movies. Do we really need another crime noir trilogy? We already did it. And that's been an argument too. So you've had kind of these camps going back and forth of, well, I'd really like to see the Robert Pattinson Batman in the new DCU. It'd be cool to see him alongside Superman. The other side saying, no, it should be its own thing. Then that side saying, we already did that. And then this side saying, but it's different this time. And then Matt Reeves here kind of the whole time having what his vision was. And so if the Batman 3 doesn't happen, if this is just 2 films and that's all it is, It's not to say that you can't tell a good story, but it would kind of make a lot of people scratch their heads at why the hell did it take so long to get 2 of these out the door? You know, why did it take so long? And at that point, why did we even need the Penguin series? What was the point? I think that it kind of does need to reach 3 just to reach its potential, especially because there have been comments recently pointing to ideas for other spin-offs in the Batman universe, which at that point, if it's just 2 movies, what would the point of this be? I mean, at that point, we have someone like the Penguin. He'll have significantly more screen time than the Batman. It's not that you can't do it. It's just going to kind of leave a lot of people scratching their heads wondering why it went about this way. I think there are many things that probably did slow down the Batman 2. Matt Reeves, commented on personal reasons, which he didn't get into, which is fair enough. He has his own life, I'm sure. But even when you have your star, Robert Pattinson, kind of voicing some frustration of, by the time we get to the next one, I'm going to be old Batman, with comments from before that we talked about on this channel, that's not a great, it's not a great vibe to be carrying into your sequel, which took so long with no real idea if you're even going to make a third one. I don't know. It felt to me like this was really the whole point of keeping it separate from the DCU was to maintain this vision and maintain this trilogy. When we're getting into spin-offs that I already don't know if we really needed, but they could still be good, like The Penguin is a good show. But then we're not even sure if we're going to finish the trilogy. We might just make 2, and then might move on to the DCU Batman. It's just kind of weird. I think that they'll make 3. Personally, I do. I think it would be a bad look if they didn't. I think that it would kind of make the whole sidelining of this Batman not being in the DCU pointless. I don't think it'll stop at 2 like Joker, because Joker 2 was really just made for money. There was never a vision for Joker 2. All there was Joker 1. And it was supposed to be open-ended and left there, and then obviously you had Todd Phillips go back. I made my review on that movie. I truly think it's because he was pissed off that the wrong people connected with the character, and he wanted to kind of do away with it. And I wouldn't say ruin the legacy of the film, but I would say, redirect the opinions on the character and make money. Make a boatload of money. I think that was the goal. And it didn't, by the way. The sequel for that flopped. I think in general that this will get 3 because I think there was always an idea for 3. And I don't see someone like Matt Reeves or Robert Pattinson, or even James Gunn, who did really respect the Batman universe, wanting to just randomly drop this after a second film. It's possible. It happened with other movies. Like, for example, it did happen with even all the way back the Keaton Batman. Then it branches off into Val Kilmer and things like that. It's not like it's impossible. It would just be very odd. It would be a very odd choice. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you want to support this channel, our Fortnite code DJAY123 helps us out a lot. Check out our store, which I'll talk about in a minute. Channel memberships, all that stuff. Appreciate you so much. Just answering the question of the day too and letting me know your thoughts is very helpful. And also as well, just to kind of redirect your attention to this, like I said before, new products are up on Cosmo Bunny Shop. You want to use code DJAY123. You'll get 10% off your first purchase over there. Hope you have a fantastic day. And as always, everyone, stay shway.